Dogs. They should be man's best friend. But instead, Britain's become overrun by canine barking, stealing, polluting, biting, and worst of all, doggy loving. When Britain's 7 million dogs aren't hounding their owners, destroying relationships, and creating havoc in their own homes,
I can't have a decent telephone conversation, I can't watch a TV programme, I can't have 5 minutes peace and quiet.
they're out on the street, terrorising the rest of us. And it's got to stop. This is Victoria Stilwell. She's a dog behaviourist with 10 years' experience training canine nightmares both here and in the US.
Down.
Victoria has no fear.
Good lad, good lad, good lad. Good boy.
In just 1 minute, she can take control of any dog.
Sit. Good boy, down. There is no dog that can't be trained, and I'm not prepared to accept any excuses. Down. Good boy.
First on her list are Jimi and Duke, 2 oversexed Labradors who are driving a wedge between their owners.
Duke! Leave it!
They're like 2 young men. Basically, they want to get laid.
What will Victoria make of the 2 Labradors that are making life hell for Dave and Angela, Katie and Chris?
They definitely rule the road. No!
They got 3-year-old Duke as a naughty puppy. But when 1-year-old Jimi arrived from a rescue shelter, the excitable dogs took control.
Jimi was supposed to be a surprise for my 40th birthday. Thank you. Ow! It was the worst surprise I've ever had, actually.
And he has his own unique way of saying hello.
He gets really excited and he starts peeing on the floor.
Oh, Jimmy.
He has actually rolled onto his back with his belly in the air and he's actually peed in somebody's eye.
Jimmy, go in there now.
Since Jimmy arrived, it's been like hell.
Thank you.
Jimi is literally destroying their home.
He's actually chewed and eaten the coals off the fire.
Remote controls for TVs.
Footwear, boots, shoes. That's rude!
Trained, Labradors can guide the blind safely across the road. Untrained, these 2 are an accident waiting to happen.
Taking the dogs for a walk is worse than a nightmare.
Because of their intelligence, Labradors can easily learn to manipulate their owners. And pulling on the lead shows Jimi and Duke want to be pack leaders.
They're both very, very strong dogs. They're in excess of 7 stones each and they're very, very difficult to pull back.
Really dangerous near the road. I'm really frightened that one of them's going to get seriously hurt.
Are you all right, Angela?
No, but I've got a bag back anyway. But that is just without any distractions. So you can imagine if you see another... Ah!
What are you doing?
The jealous dogs are literally coming between man and wife.
Oh, Duke will start trying to kiss me, so Dave can't.
That's my boyfriend.
There's nowhere to hide from the over-amorous hounds.
Oh, Jimmy, come over. No, I want to shave under my arm.
And it's not just their owners they love too much. Dog love has taken over the home. And after a hard day's humping, they climb into bed with their owners.
They lay on my legs and my legs get stiff and then I get up and I have to walk about. Jimmy, he snores so loud that the first time he did it, I seriously thought there was something wrong in the street. It was coming from the bottom of our bed.
You know, you've got my toe in there.
The dogs are dominating Angela and Dave's lives 24 hours a day, and the strain is taking its toll.
Did he hit can?
Hit me. Joy.
It's not fair on the kids, it's not fair on Dave and I and our relationship.
They certainly do put pressure on our relationship because if I come home and Angie's had a bad day with the dogs, it can cause friction.
Jimmy, no, that's rude. Go away. Go away, Jimmy.
My dad and Angie sometimes argue with what the dogs do, then it puts us all down then.
They do drive you up the wall. I can see the torment that it's causing Angie. A lot more than me.
Things really cannot continue as they are.
Victoria's spent 10 years taming dogs on both sides of the Atlantic. Her training is the family's last hope, but will they be up for it?
Got to get control over your dog. You've got to show them that you're the leader. And believe me, if it's a male dog, that can be a whole lot easier if you've had him castrated.
Immediately Victoria arrives, she's confronted with just how sexual these dogs are.
Jimmy, give over. This is Jimmy. And this is Joe.
It's their way of getting information, I have to say. Smelling people's crotches is the way, because everybody, I know it's a bit embarrassing to talk about it, but everybody has a different smell.
Yeah.
So that's why when they greet visitors, that's why they do it, because they get a lot of information just from that.
Now the dogs know everything there is to know about Victoria, it's her turn to find out about them.
Jimmy jumped up and his claw went through the wall.
Nice bit of plastic to get your mouth around. That's a shame, isn't it?
Puppies do need to chew when teething, but Jimi and Duke are big boys now.
Oh my gosh, he's gone through a wall. I'm surprised you've got a house left.
Labradors are great working dogs because of their renowned obedience, but not in this family.
Let go. Let go.
I want you to be in a position that when the leader says let go of it, that he lets go.
Yeah.
Angela has no more control over the dogs than Dave.
No! No! No!
Jumping up at their owners is attention-seeking behaviour, just like naughty, demanding children.
It's not good that they jump up on you, demanding their toys. You should be the one that's in control of everything. Okay.
Dave and Angela want to show Victoria how jealous their dogs get when they show each other any affection.
Oh, yeah. Oh! Oh! I don't know where that tongue's been.
I think we do.
Yeah. Licking bottom, too. Licking your face.
Licking is unhygienic, but allowing dogs on the sofa sends them the wrong message about their place.
And that's disrespectful. We don't want dogs clambering all over you. You don't do that to the leader. I'm a leader. I'm sending body signals to them. I will give them affection, but I give it on my terms, in the way that I want to give the affection, and they understand that.
Even when Angela's having a quiet moment in the bathroom, she's not safe.
Jimmy's just licking it off again.
Oh. These dogs are orally fixated. They chew a lot. They lick a lot. Licking in the bath, licking your legs in the bath is just an extension of that. Angela needs to be stronger. She can't let the dogs into the bathroom. She can't give in to the whining. She needs to be a leader.
And when Dave comes home, the greeting he gets is warm, wet, and unhygienic.
Oh no! It's ween all over!
Jimmy, what have you done?
So he does that every time, doesn't he?
Every time, yeah.
That's just
Gets
because
so excited he just pees.
Yeah.
That's a behaviour that's got to stop.
It is, yeah.
Otherwise soon you're not going to have any visitors to your home.
No.
Because they don't want to have pee all over them.
No.
And I think I got just a little bit of pee on my tights just then.
Oh no! All right, Joke.
Oh.
Joke. Come on.
Out on the streets, Jimi and Duke are still very much in charge.
Don't pull, Jim. Jimmy?
Have you ever taught them to walk on the lead?
I've tried. I did try, but I've sort of just given up now.
How can you expect dogs to walk well on the lead when they really haven't been taught? It's a very, very real worry.
Stop that now! Drop!
Now Victoria has seen how badly behaved the dogs are with their owners, she wants to see if she can exert any control over them.
Sit. Watch me. The watch me command is used to focus your dog's attention onto you in order to maintain control and establish your role as leader of the pack. Eye contact at this point establishes your role as leader, but isn't threatening. Good boys, good boys. These are boisterous, naughty dogs. But they're very intelligent. And I've shown that because in a minute, I've got them under control.
Victoria has no problem keeping these dogs in line, but can she pass on her skills to Dave and Angela?
Right. Dogs don't speak English. They talk dog. Dogs respond really well to vocal tone and pitch. A lot of people shout at their dogs, "Stop it!" or "No!" okay? I'm going to teach you a better vocal correction. When dogs tell each other off, it's a kind of, ah. I do exactly the same. Ah. Just a short, sharp vocal noise that is almost like a shock. Whoa, it's a distraction. It's no physical hitting, there's no shouting, but it's got to be hard, punchy, short and sharp. Beautiful. Perfect. Could do a bit better. Beautiful. I'm also going to teach you how to give the look. The look. I mean business look. I mean, I really mean business look. No bull, I mean business look. They know it comes from you, they know that you mean business, they know to back off.
It's not long before the family have to bring their training into action.
Oh, we got a bit of humping here. Do you know what? This isn't just a sexual thing, this is also a dominance thing.
Is it?
Yeah. I mean, they're
very
both
embarrassing.
Yeah. I want you just to use that training. More punchy, more punchy. Try it one more time. Good, good, fantastic. Do you see how that worked? Brilliant. When your dog responds to a correction, tell them good boy. That's it. Oh, lovely. Always give feedback.
So, Angela can use Victoria's training to stop the dogs humping each other, but can she stop them doing it to the family's visitors?
So when your friends come, just say, please ignore the dog, and if the dogs jump up, turn your back. Okay, let the dogs out. Just say, tell them now.
Just ignore dogs. If they jump on it, you just turn your back on them.
Okay. That's it. Just walk through, lovely.
So far, so good. But a few minutes later, Duke can't control himself.
Duke!
Leave it! Duke! That's not...
Angela fails. Victoria has to step in.
Duke! Leave it!
We've seen some sexual behaviour by these dogs. I mean, they're like two young men. They're fueled with testosterone. Basically, they want to get laid.
Getting these lusty labs under control is not going to be easy.
Leave it.
But if things don't shape up, Victoria's next step will be to send them to the vet for some radical action.
I think you're grown-ups are going to have to go.
Imagine sharing your house, your food and your bed with Randy Labradors, Jimi and Duke.
Jimmy, come over.
Owners Angela and Dave got Jimmy from a rescue shelter. He was so badly behaved, they considered sending him back.
Weed all over.
Dog behaviour expert Victoria Stilwell wants to be certain Dave and Angela take her training seriously. She's brought them to a rescue shelter to show them what happens to dogs whose owners don't shape up. Britain's dog obsession has created its own epidemic, with thousands of dogs each week dumped at rescue centres. This shelter doesn't destroy healthy dogs, but local authorities on average put down one dog every hour.
I mean, coming here now, I feel really sad. I feel really depressed. I feel really upset. I've got a knot in my stomach. I feel like I want to burst out crying. I just feel guilty that we were going to take him back. Sorry, Dave.
All right, it's all right.
If you're going to have a dog in your home, you have to be responsible for that dog. So let's get to work.
You want some, Jimmy? I can do some without you. Here.
All dog owners love to indulge their pets, but feeding a dog with scraps from the table sends them the wrong message about their place in your pack.
I know I'm really dirty and disgusting, but I just tend to share whatever I've got with them.
Seriously? Jimmy could have gone back to the rescue shelter.
Yes.
Jimmy's life could have ended in order for that never ever to happen. You have to carry on the training, the being tougher throughout. And one of those times is at the table too.
To stop the dog's incessant begging, Victoria will have to teach them to control their enormous urge to eat.
I want you, as you're doing this, to keep giving him the eye. Give him the Victoria eye.
Right.
Okay? Keep policing the piece of chicken on the side. When he looks away, you tell him good boy.
Good boy.
Got a piece of chicken in my hand. I'm going to let Jimmy sniff it and smell it. When he takes his nose away from it, I give it to him. Good boy. As I do it now, I'm going to put a word to it. Leave it. Good boy. Good boy. Leave it. Good boy.
Next up, it's Duke's turn.
Good boy. What a good boy. Leave it.
Victoria's taught the dogs to keep their distance from their owner's dinner.
Good boy.
In fact, she's solved all the problem behaviour that wasn't down to testosterone. Her baby gate has banished the dogs from the bedroom.
Back, 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 back.
By communicating with body language, they're off the sofa.
Good boy. Jimmy, drop.
And because Victoria has introduced rewards, they're giving objects back to their owners for the first time. Next on Victoria's agenda is stopping Jimmy urinating on Dave.
As soon as he hears the motorbike, he gets very excited because Daddy's coming home.
Yeah.
And then you're giving him so much attention, you're going, hello, 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 that he can't contain himself, so he just pees. It's called excitable pee. Stop the peeing.
Yeah.
You now have to change your behaviour. Instead of fussing him when he greets you, this is going to be hard, but I want you to ignore him.
Okay.
I want you to ignore him and just to walk in. Say hello, but ignore.
Hello.
And walk in. That's it, just walk in. Now you can give him a little pet. Just don't fuss him though, just a little quick one. That's it. Lovely.
What's for tea?
This has been an instant result. So as long as he stands back from him and just praises the calm, it's going to be fine. So we no longer have this and this decorating the entrance to the door.
It's the first time Jimmy's managed to contain himself. But despite all Victoria's good work, the dogs are still humping non-stop. Angela hates letting the dogs off the lead because she can never persuade them to come back to her.
Now, there we go.
If you run after him, he thinks you're chasing him.
Yes.
But if you run away from him and you make a noise like, wah! Wah! Something like a really big distracting noise, he's more likely to come.
Duke!
Good boy, yay! Yay!
Recall has worked perfectly with Jimmy, but Duke has smelt a bitch, and even Victoria can't get him back.
This is out of control, so...
Oh dear.
Are your dogs females?
It's your naughty brother, isn't it? With one very, very cross Victoria. Oh dear.
That was a bitch.
Yes, I thought it was.
This behaviour in the park just confirms to me this is the testosterone problem. Duke especially smelt that bitch from miles away and ran and just would not leave her alone. She was coming into season and he was very attracted by that. The solution is not just training, it's also neutering.
But Victoria still needs to convince Angela and Dave.
Neutering can prolong their life because it can make them healthier. It makes the risk of testicular cancer 0, and they don't have this testosterone going through them all the time. You know, this desire to go out and find a mate.
I think it's the testosterone in me that's
Yes.
stopped me having them done before
Yeah.
now. I don't want to see me little dogs walking
No.
around without the bits.
No.
What if they were your dogs? What would you do?
Oh.
If they were my dogs, I would have them neutered.
It was a little bit.
Victoria leaves with Jimmy and Duke's plums hanging in the balance.
It's just removing a body part, isn't it? I mean, some people might not like them, but I think they're lovely little plums.
But the dog's rude behaviour makes their minds up for them.
I think your gonads are gonna have to go.
It's the day of reckoning for Jimmy and Duke. The operation takes half an hour and should cost between £80 and £150.
Just hope time flies now. I just want to get them back home. Looking forward to maybe seeing a difference in the behaviour. No more humping and testosterone-fuelled fights.
You can hear them now, here they are.
Oh, hello, baby.
The operation is a success,
Baby, hello, hello, hello. Oh, yes, yes.
and both dogs are soon on the mend.
Decided to get them get well card. Lie down, rest and heal. Hope you feel better soon. There you are, Duke. That's for you. Good boy. Oh, Duke wants envelope as well.
Now the dogs are no longer at the mercy of their hormones, Victoria can complete the training.
I know that one of your big problems has been getting the dogs to come back to you when they're off the lead. So today what we're going to do is we're going to practice your recall.
They begin with 50-foot training leads so they can gradually increase the dog's freedom to roam.
Now is the moment of truth. There you go, let him off.
Victoria has one last trick to get these dogs to return.
Call them, go like that, and get down on the ground, and all of a sudden, instead of standing upright, you're lying down. That makes the dogs come over and investigate you because they're naturally inquisitive.
Yeah. Come on, Fatty, come on.
Finally, the dogs are listening to their owners, not their hormones.
This is the next level.
But Victoria wants to make sure they'll keep listening, no matter what temptations are there to distract them.
Putting it on the floor. No. Duke, sit. Up, up, up. Leave it.
And within seconds, Duke is completely under Victoria's control.
Leave it.
But Angela's worried about Jimmy's willpower.
We've got scratches on our table there where he's actually jumped up. Get food off the table. It's actually ruined the tabletop. And that is the second tabletop we've actually had. So this is going to be a real test. Leave it. Leave it. Leave it. Good boy. You good boy.
It's a triumph for the dog who was so badly behaved, the family nearly returned him to a rescue shelter.
Leave it. Leave it. Leave it.
Leave it. Leave it. You good boys. Good boy.
This is the final proof of leadership, that control has been taken back by Angela and David, from the dogs to them. They're now showing the dogs that they're the leaders.
Before she leaves, Victoria wants to make sure the dogs have stopped humping for good.
As far as I'm concerned, it's completely gone because I haven't seen them doing it since.
Really?
Yeah.
Last time Josh visited, Duke couldn't resist him.
Do you want to go up and stroke him, Josh, to see if he behaves himself?
Good boy.
The neutering has put an end to the dog's sexual behaviour.
Play with me, that's a good boy.
Thanks to Victoria, the rebellious, oversexed labs are now model pets.
Well, from Jimmy being the worst birthday present I could expect, I just kept thinking, God, and Anna wasted a present to get this nightmare, and now he's just turned into the best birthday present I ever could have hoped for.
Good boy. Jimmy was a problem dog that came from a rescue centre. There were times I thought he's got to go. When I look at him now and look what he's achieved, I think, God, what did I nearly do?
I think it's an absolutely perfect result. The dogs were the leaders in the house, absolutely. But now we are the leaders.